Two of your teammates, Hines Ward, James Harrison, among the 28 modern era players for the Pro Football Hall of Fame 2023 class. Ike, even be among the 7 semifinalists is a tremendous honor. And eventually, I think both players will get in. I don't think either player will get in 2023, but I want to give you the floor. You played with both of these players. The floor is yours. Take this in any direction you'd like, because even to be a semifinalist is a tremendous honor.
Yeah, I thought Hines Ward should have been there. But they say, meaning the board for the Hall of Fame committee, we already got too many Pittsburgh Steelers in there. I say, obviously, the front office been doing a heck of a job of drafting these guys, and these guys wind up being, either Hall of Famers or, Hall of Fame semifinalists. That says a lot about the front office and them evaluating drafting talent. For Hines Ward, I thought Hines Ward should have been there. I was a teammate of Hines Ward, nicknamed AKA Wody. That's what he called himself in third person. For a wide receiver, to have defensive guys, Hall of Fame defensive guys, be aware where you're at, said a lot about Hines Ward, because they know if it had anything to do with anything doing with crack blocking, he was going to try to knock your head off, and he was going to do it with a smile. That's exactly what he was going to do it with. So Hines, when you looked at Hines, he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the shiftiest, but him being a semifinalist says a lot about his career. Hines gives, in my mind, people who are not going to wow you with numbers when it comes to the combine. He's just a football player. Hope. I look at Deebo Samuels right now for the San Francisco 49ers as a Hines Ward. Hines was just a tough son of a gun. If you watch Hines in Georgia, when he was playing at Georgia, he was a running back, the quarterback. And if you ask him to play free safety, he'll come down and knock your head off. He would have did the exact same thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they would have asked him to play all positions. When you wanted a third down conversion and they knew it was going to 86, Hines Ward made a play. When you needed a block or a crack to make a big play, Hines Ward made that play. When you was looking for some kind of consistency throughout the tough games, look for 86. When you was just looking for a Super Bowl big play, look for 86. 86, Hines Ward was just that guy. He's just a football player. You just can't put a wide receiver name on him. Of course, he played wide receiver, but Ward was just a football player, man. He played with passion. He played hurt. He didn't let anybody know, and everybody feared a wide receiver on the defensive side.
Ike, let me jump in here, and then we'll get to Harrison. I've got two things about Ward. Coming into the NFL out of Georgia, playing a variety of different positions, something he told us about here on the Bleav in Steelers show ahead of last year's Super Bowl. And it was great talking with him and his college teammate, Terrell Davis, two former Super Bowl MVPs. But I remember when he was coming out of the draft in Georgia, he doesn't have an ACL on his left knee, and that's a huge red flag. And then it's just like, okay, he's not the fastest. He's not the shiftiest. He always found ways to get open. Didn't matter where he was on the field. He found ways to get open and consistently make plays. So there's that. But then a story I have personally, Ike, and the reason I even know who you are before we even started doing the show is because I played Madden as a kid. And I remember when you had Hines Ward on your team in Madden, I can't remember if this is the year they put the hit stick in. It might have been a year or two after. They had to where you could be the offensive player and block for the running back running the football. Well, if you had Hines Ward on your team, it was like having an extra offensive lineman, and you could move him anywhere on the field and pretty much take out anyone you wanted to. It was like that in the Madden video game. I can't even imagine what it was like in real life, because like you've told me, Ike, it was like we had to sign peace treaties with this guy in practice because we were that scared of him.
Yeah, we used to tell Wody, hey Wody, if it's a run play and you got opportunity to knock me on the side of my temple, hey bro, just lay up on me, bro. Please lay up on me, because when you hit somebody on the side of their temple, either you're gonna break their jaw or they'll be out 4 or 5 games. So hey Wody, I'm your teammate. I'm glad I'm your teammate. Just make sure you don't kiss me on my temple, man, because I got a family to feed.
Yeah, absolutely, Ike. So I'm with you that Ward eventually deserves to get in. Personally, Ike, I would put Torrey Holt in before Hines Ward. But Hines Ward eventually, at some point in time, it's really hard because each class only gets 5 players.
Correct. Yeah,
All
that's
right,
tough.
so
But to
go ahead, Ike.
that's tough. But the fact, because I know you about to ask me, we about to talk about James Harrison, aka Debo.
Mhm.
Uh, the youngest out of 11 kids. So guess what you had to be? You had to be tough. You had to scrap. You had to fight to get your food. You mom's favorite. You're the biggest. You've been going against the odds for the longest. Going to Canada, going to Europe, getting cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers, getting cut by the Ravens, getting cut by the Pittsburgh Steelers again, and we finally bought him back. And I'm so glad we bought Debo back. Because all Debo knew was work. Never complain, never whine, never nothing, because he know, man, once I put this work in, once y'all give me this opportunity, man, undrafted free agent. Once y'all give me this opportunity, I feel sorry for everybody else. So that was James Harrison. When you want to get the Super Bowl, the one we played in Arizona against the Arizona, no, the one we played in Tampa against the Arizona Cardinals, it's one of the best plays in Super Bowl history. You
Yep.
know, that interception for a touchdown before halftime. That was James Harrison. When you want to look at a former defensive league MVP, that was James Harrison. For a guy to be 5'10", jumping over offensive linemen just to try to score a touchdown, that was Debo. When you want to talk about a sack guy who perfected the sack, and people feared him, not only quarterbacks and offensive coordinators, but even offensive linemen, that was James Harrison. When you want to talk about a guy who knew the Pittsburgh Steelers way, and really both of these guys were just Pittsburgh Steelers. Tough, eat, sleep, drink, football. That's Hines and that's James Harrison. But getting back to James Harrison, man, it's just he struck fear. When you want to talk about when it's been, -10 and he's coming out with no shirt with just a beanie on, that's Debo.
Ike, I'll run you through my 5 really quickly for the 2023 class of who I would put in.
Okay.
Joe Thomas, Darrelle Revis, Torrey Holt, DeMarcus Ware, and Devin Hester. But I know you've told me this in the past. Ware has better sack numbers than Harrison, but you played on the defense and you know that the Steelers defense didn't always ask Harrison to rush the passer on every
Yeah.
single play, which is why he has worse sack numbers.
Yeah, I'm putting Debo before Ware. And this is no
Wow.
difference.
Okay.
But I'm putting if we just asked Debo to rush, Debo would have had 20 sacks a year. So Debo did more than rushing. I mean, at one point in time, Debo was leading the team in interceptions. So not only do you feel me rushing the quarterback, but I can drop back in coverage and get picks and score touchdowns. I don't think Ware was a defensive MVP. I know James Harrison was. I know he had one of the best plays in the Super Bowl. So you want to talk about defensive to be an NFL defensive MVP. I'm not talking about candidate. I'm talking about actually winning. What are we talking about? So why would we put in this? No disrespect to where I know where, but James Harrison got to go before where. Just the resume. Yeah, you can talk about the sacks. Debo got sacks, but bro, I got defensive league MVP. Have you ever done that before? And by the way, have you ever been to a Super Bowl and had one of the greatest returns ever? 100 some yards before half. Like Debo was just Mr. Consistent. Like Debo for a 6-year span was the best outside linebacker in the NFL. So, and this is no disrespect. I'm just saying where does have his stats, but I don't think they asked Ware to drop back in coverage. I know we asked Debo to drop back in coverage plenty of times. If we would have asked that man just to rush the quarterback, he would have went for 20 sacks a year.
If you want to know about James Harrison's dominance in one single game, Mike, that Monday night game against the Ravens in 2007, I want to read you his stat lines and go look at the highlights. They're incredible. One game, 10 tackles, 6 quarterback hits, 3.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, an interception, and a fumble recovery. That's like a season for some players. And he did that in one game against your division rival, Baltimore Ravens.
So why are you gonna put Ware before Debo? Think about what
The
you just
numbers are
said.
better. The numbers are better, Ike. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm looking at he had success both in Dallas and in Denver. The numbers are better. I think there's case for both of them, Mike, but I'm trying to put myself in the frame of mind of who's actually going to get in. And if you look at it on paper, it's not fair. And Ike, you know this better than anyone. They already think that there's too many Steelers in the Hall of Fame. So that's the reason why.
Right. Now, I respect
whether that's
opinion.
fair or not is a whole different debate.
Yes,
but.
It's not fair. It's not fair. Like I said, we can't help that we draft well and we draft guys, semifinalists or guys who are actually in the Hall of Fame. Pittsburgh can't help that. They've been doing this in the 70s. They can't help that. But I'm taking Debo before Ware. This is no disrespect to Ware.
Both have had terrific careers. We'll see. I know that they'll whittle down the list one more time to name the finalists from 28. I Bleav they go down to like 10. So we'll see that. And I knew they do that before the Super Bowl, Ike. So we will see. And congrats to both Ward and Harrison for even getting nominated, making it to this point. Again, is a tremendous honor. And it's not like in the NBA where everyone gets in. You only get 5 per year in pro football. So we will see.